In this video, I'm going to show you how to put some of the finer details on the parts that make up the shaft support assembly. So let's look at this bearing support. We need to add the counter bores onto here. So we'll use the hole wizard and choose the counter bores, the hole type, ANSI inch. The screw type, for some reason it defaults to this weird binding head screw. Make sure you set that to a socket head cap screw. Even though what we're using is a slotted screw, that would give you the right dimensions. And the size, you have to look at the call out there, but it is a 3/8. One thing we're going to do is use this custom sizing so we get the exact dimensions that we have. So if you check your drawing, you'll see, for example, the through hole is going to be 3/8. So, oops, that's 375. The big hole, the big counter bore size is going to be 5/8, which is 0.625. That's correct. And then the depth of the counter bore itself, that's going to be 0.125. Okay, so that's all set. We're going to go up here to position then, and what you have to do is click on, first of all, it says select the face, so just choose the face where you want to place it, and then you want to locate it. Now one thing you can do is if you bring your cursor out here, don't click it, but you'll see it'll highlight where that center point is. So I'll put one there, and I'll do the same thing over here. Click on that and put that right there and say OK. So that's really quick and easy to add those counter bores. Obviously you could do it with a couple of sketches and a couple of extrusions as well. And then of course don't forget to put the fillets on there, which are called out as 1/8 of an inch. And there's your bearing support. Let's look at the cap screw. So we need to add a thread to that. So I'm going to show you the sketch I used. Now one thing the book is kind of unclear about adding the slot. Don't put the slot on here. If you're going to try to revolve this, you have to put the slot in later. It doesn't work to cut that out and then try to revolve it. It doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't really matter about, for example, this fillet on this or the radius on that. I just looked up for socket head cap screws. I looked up a 3/8 and I got all these dimensions for the size of the head and everything. So use a table like that to get these dimensions. And then again, I can show you what I did on that is I just used this. I drew these straight lines, so that line to there, that line to there, and I just put an arc in there just using this 3-point arc. Click here, click there, and then just move it out, and then I dimensioned it as radius of 1.25. It doesn't really matter, it's just a screw head. And then I revolved it, and then you're going to want to put the slot in. Again, that's a separate operation. Let's go ahead and put the thread on first. So to put the thread on, we already have the diameter, so remember how to do that. You're just going to use thread under the hole wizard, but don't use the hole wizard itself, just use the thread part. And you'll get that message, it's fine. Check our specs here. So we're going to use, it's an external thread. External thread, you use a die. An internal thread, you use a tap. And the size is a 3/8 24. So make sure you choose. There's a 3/8 16 and a 3/8 24. Ours is a 24. And then this will be how long you want the threads to be, which I don't know. I just put a half an inch. Oops, I just put a 1/2 inch in there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, click in that blue box, click on the edge here. Remember, do your chamfer first before you put the thread on it. And that'll put a thread. If you want to make the threaded area longer, you just change that number right there. I think that's sufficient, so that'll put the thread on it. And in order to put that screwdriver slot, all I did was I just drew I used the rectangle tool. Drew a rectangle here, dimensioned it based on the drawing that was given to us, and then I extrude cut that. Oh, I should show you the plane I was on, sorry. So I just used the mid plane there. No, front plane. So I just sketched right on that front plane and then extrude cut in both directions. That's probably the easiest way to do that. And that'll give you your screw. The base plate, we've got 2 threaded holes in the top of this. So in this case, we'll just use, since we don't have the holes yet, let's use the hole wizard to do that. So again, now, so those bolts that we just made, they're going to fit in here. So we know the thread, it's a 3/8 24. So ANSI inch, socket head cap screw, it doesn't really matter. We are going to do, again, make sure you have it set for a 3/8. Sorry, got to choose a threaded hole. So straight tap, I had it still on a counter bar where it says straight tap, ANSI inch. So now you're doing an internal thread. So with an internal thread, just make it a tapped hole. This one's going to go all the way through. So tapped hole, 3/8 24. And that's all we need for that. Go to position, select the face. So just click on the face and then we'll have to locate it. So don't worry about it right now. Just click 2 locations. We'll come back and add dimensions to those. So we know we need 2 of those. I'll try to get them on the center there. And then come up to smart dimension, and we need to dimension those from the edge there. I think that's 1.75. And make sure it's dimensioned in both directions. That's good. And there's our threaded holes. Now remember, you get that simplified representation when you use the hole wizard, which is totally fine. So those are our parts. The only other part would be this collar. Just remember to add the chamfer onto the collar. Now if you want to change the material, when I'm making assembly, a lot of times if you leave all the material standard, you'll have that dull gray for all the pieces, and when you start to assemble it, it's hard to tell which piece is which. So one thing you can do is change the material. It's really simple. So just come up here to the top and right click in your part tree and it'll say material, and there's a giant list of materials there, and you can change it to something. Again, I'm just looking for something that's got a little bit of a different tint, and say apply and close, and it'll change the color of the material. Right, and that way, again, when you build your assembly, all the parts don't look the same. That's a minor detail. But that gives you all your parts that you need for building that assembly.